What's up, you guys? It's 2Bricks, and I am here to show you the final, quote-unquote final, finished version of my Millennium Falcon, pre-making the instructions, that is. But yeah, you can see right here that it has the full coverings, and it's basically a completed ship. The only thing that it really still needs is a stand. And so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys the progress, the kind of different interesting things that I've designed and ways in which that I've come up with to connect all of the different panels and things to the top of the ship, and how you guys, once you have your hands on the ship, will be able to dismantle and easily gain access to the interior, and how to access all the different functions and all that good stuff. So yeah, I mean, this is going to be a pretty comprehensive finisher for this design series, which I'm super happy about. This has been a really fun design process, and I'm just honestly so thrilled with the results. I mean, I just don't think I could have possibly crammed any more detail and any more recognizable features into a ship of this size. I mean, this is, it's kind of hard to judge on camera, but it's considerably smaller than the UCS model, considerably larger than the Playscale models, and it just really fits in that zone where I think I'm just going to be so happy to have this on a shelf for years to come. So yeah, really thrilled. So excited to get in and show all you guys all the progress and stuff, and all the little details and interesting things that I added. And yeah, I think let's just kind of get stuck in, and we'll take a look. So I just wanted to give you a look at the additional action feature that I teased in the previous video. So obviously we have the moving Rectena dish that can revolve 360, and I'm really happy with all the detail and how all that turned out. But that's not it. It's actually hidden under here. You can see there's a tiny little gap right here, and that's a part where you can actually hinge this whole section open. And just like in the actual Millennium Falcon, you can see it in the kind of cross-sections videos, or in the cross-sections books and things, there's a hidden missile compartment down here. And these are the concussion missiles that the Falcon fired out to defeat the Death Star 2 and to take out the main reactor. So there you go, that's just hidden away there, perfectly kind of tucked. And if you're not the owner of this vehicle and you're just looking at it, I don't think you would ever know that that's hidden down there. I think that's a really cool and slick feature. So taking a closer look at this Rectena dish here, you can see that the tower and the way that it's designed with the different struts, the A-frame here, the way that it hinges from this point and then the frame connects into the dish, is all super accurate to the Millennium Falcon itself. And having the 360-degree rotation here is super nice. And I also have the Force Awakens rectangular Rectena, which is really just a case of popping this off, like the studs that are holding onto the back of this dish just grip onto this plate right here. And it's really easy to kind of switch them out. So let me just switch it out real quick, and you can see what it looks like. And then you can see, switch that out, and it has the same exact kind of profile that the other one has, except the rectangular version. And I think that looks great. It's pretty much all you could hope for a dish at this scale. So there you go. There's your Force Awakens adaptation of the Millennium Falcon. All right, guys, so I just wanted to give you a quick look at the completed bottom side of the Falcon. So you can see here all the nice details and things that we saw before are still present, of course. And you can see the landing gear in their kind of fixed configuration, where I have the additional plates here that I've added. You can just see here I finished out the correct kind of color scheme. I got those parts in that I was waiting for, and added in all the kind of various piping details and things like that. And I think it looks really good. It's it's minimal enough to where it doesn't kind of bog down the part count, but it definitely captures all the details that I want to see for sure. And one handy feature that I did add is that I put a clip right in here. I just integrated that into the rounded section here. And I did that so that when you're not, displaying this on a stand or anything like that, that you can just clip that in there, and it won't kind of sag down when you're trying to place the ship on the landing legs. And then if we just take a look down in here, you can see the same windshield piece, or the window piece that I ended up using on my previous Falcon. Although this time it's actually secure in there. It's actually built into a little frame that holds it in place. So much improved on the previous one for sure. And the very last thing that I want to show you guys is a little bit of an Easter egg tucked away inside of this mandible maintenance pit right here at the front on the underside. And that is the tumbler down in there. And it's a microscale, or I guess a nanoscale version. Let me see if I can pull it out and show you guys. I built this as an homage to a real-life Easter egg for the Force Awakens era Falcon, where they placed a full-on model of the tumbler, just spray painted to kind of match the body color, and they just stuck it right inside of this mandible recess pit right here. And so I did the exact same thing. It's actually a video that shows that off. I think, was it this way? Yeah. There's a video that shows that off, and I'll put the link in the description. You guys can check that out. Such a cool little nod to a great filmmaker. So yeah, had to include that in my version, of course. All right, you guys, and I wanted to give you a quick look at the interior here as far as what has changed since the last time that I showed it to you. I really only had to make very, very minor adjustments to the interior space here. Like, for example, I had to just very carefully get the kind of exact spacing for the panels and stuff, so I ended up having to just remove like one rounded, one of these rounded slope pieces right here off the corner, and I added this clip right here, which actually holds the whole cockpit corridor section in place. So really, really minor stuff there. And then as far as the actual interior details, they're all pretty much the same. So we still have the the nice kind of crew quarters here, or a crew lounge hanging out area, which you can still cover up there with a thing. The kind of floor panels. I have the training ball droid here in its little kind of stored away location in this crate, and I can just pull that out and attach it here so Luke can be doing his lightsaber training. And that just kind of doubles as the handle for this section. So all that stuff is unchanged, and I'm still really, really pleased with how it all turned out. Little bed here, the cargo section with all these openable boxes. I think it gives you the exact look that you want, and I'm still thrilled with all of that. And luckily, none of it had to change for the sake of the design, so that's great. One thing that I ended up having to add is a section in here to integrate the Rectena Dish. That's the big radar dish that sits on the front top side of the Falcon here, and of course that needed a place to anchor in, so I went ahead and kind of built that in. And when the actual dish section is sitting on here, like so, you can see there it covers up the back side of this now little exposed area in the bunk, which is something that was not there before, and I think that kind of serves the function just perfectly. And what's cool is it's really easy to remove that radar section from here, so you don't have to have that present all the time when you're placing figures and playing around and all that. I never did find the other stickered pieces for this back section here, but obviously in the instructions I'll be including a link to a sticker sheet that hopefully the cheapest one that I can get that has these same stickered elements here that will allow you to complete the nice kind of seat back look. And then the other big change that I made was back here. Previously I had built up kind of representation of the sublight engines with these dark tan kind of striped details that we're running through here. I had to change that because the necessity of the shaping for the plate to kind of come down in here for the vents and all that section, for it to meet up smoothly, it needed a little bit of extra help in terms of some support down here from this structure, so that yeah, so it would just all kind of marry up nice and smooth. And so I ended up having to kind of build some exterior plating onto this, and I think it looks perfectly fine. Like it sucks to not have the little kind of internal detailing there that was present before, but all the same stuff, the hyperdrive, all the tubing and piping, the escape pod entrance hatch, it's all still in there, of course. The only thing that has changed is just the top side of this part right here. But it actually helps to cover up any kind of light gaps and things as well that would come from the engine. So a lot of this additional plating in here helps to kind of hide the little parts where light can seep through. So I think it all kind of works out in the end, and I think it's actually a good change, a positive change to the model, and I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, those are all the major changes. Everything else is pretty much identical from the last time that you guys saw it, and I will be doing a kind of final showcase video that will just give you guys a full look at all of the features, the interior and all that other stuff, that you'll be able to kind of get a closer look if you hadn't seen the previous videos. That will be coming relatively soon. So that'll just kind of be the full top to bottom Falcon experience. So I added in this little red plate right here too, or this slope, because that kind of, when the plates all come up to here, it just gives it that little one piece of detailing from the exterior that wasn't there before. But yeah, that really is it for all of the internal changes. I'm still super happy. I think this is probably the best interior, and as far as like for the size, I don't think it could possibly have crammed in any more stuff from the actual Falcon itself, and I think that the layout is pretty much perfect in terms of screen accuracy, you know, well, to the lore anyway. We never see any of these rooms on screen really. So yeah, I think it's really cool. Oh, actually, I was watching Solo again the other day, and there is one shot of this room. All you see is like a wall with pipes on it, which is kind of this back wall right here, and it's where Beckett comes running in, and he loads up the coaxium directly into the hyperdrive, so you can boost the Falcon out of the black hole. So yeah, that actually technically has been seen on screen one time. But yeah, so that's that. But yeah, there you go, guys. There's the interior of the Falcon. Like I said, more details will be shown, and kind of some of them will be reshown in my big kind of wrap-up showcase video, which I'll have some nice cinematic quality shots to it, I hope. That's what I'm going to try to go for, so we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, there you go. That's that for now. All right, guys, so I'm going to demonstrate to you how to apply all of the panels and top section stuff back onto your Falcon so you can close it all up. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is to grab this main central section here, which contains the top gunner turret, the front jaw, and then the back here with all of the kind of vent details and stuff. And that's just going to go right over here. Sorry, I'm kind of maneuvering around the camera there. So yeah, this just goes right on here, and you can line it up where it's kind of hard to see, but there's a flat kind of a 1x4 panel in here that just lines up perfectly with the center of this area, and it's just kind of a good indicator as to where to place it. And you can just go ahead and press down on the top here until it kind of clicks into place where there's a few kind of studs that will cling onto that, and then you can go ahead and just push this little detail down, and there you go. So the back should just naturally come to rest in the correct spot where it all kind of meets up here, nice and smooth. So just turn off the lights so I don't burn out my batteries. So yeah, that's the main section that you want to get on first, and then all the other panels will kind of come together around this. So from this point on, there's really no specific order as such, so you can kind of go ahead and do it however you want, but I like to go ahead and just place this light up panel in here first, and that just sits down in that little spot there and studs in. Again, just has a couple of studs holding it in place, so that just completes the kind of cross section here. Then we can go ahead and add on our panels on this side. So we have this large one right here, and the way that this connects in, this panel right here, the way that it connects in, and sorry, I should just mention, you can see that it's relatively even in shape, but it has this extra protrusion right here, and that's how you know that this is the side that goes on the right, because this part meets up with the edge kind of here to complete this gap that would be here otherwise. But yeah, I mean, if you know the Falcon at all, you know the kind of the different panels and the details and things. But yeah, so yeah, you just go ahead and place this down in here, and you make sure that it's resting across the top there and it's supported, and then you just notch this little area here into this tiny little piece, and that just holds it perfectly in place. And then we have a little lever down here that you just push down, and that just keeps a little bit of pressure there on the top and just keeps it in place, and that's nice and secure. So we can go ahead and do the same on the other side. So same thing here, we find our little notched piece that's sticking up, and we place the panel down so that that meets up perfectly with this portion right here. Lay it nice and flat, and then push down the lever. So there's the back section done. The front here gets a little bit more tricky. So we're going to be using these gray pieces with the piping that sticks out to kind of grip onto the underside. There's a little notch that's cut out of these panels right under here, and that panel just kind of lines up in there, and it's a little tricky, but I'll show you guys how that goes. So you basically just place the panel in here, and you make sure that you can see the underside here just matching up with that. Sorry, it's really hard to see. Matching up here underneath this part with the notch, and it's hugging onto that pipe in there. So what this is relying on is this part is going to keep it pinned in from falling upwards, and then the satellite dish, when you place that in there, or the Rectena, that's going to pin it in from the other side. That's just going to keep it in there, and it is a little bit loose, but then once you place the other panel on the other side of it, which is the same technique as before. So you just lay that on there. You find the little notch, although on this one it's a different style of piece that holds it in place. But yeah, these all come together right here in the middle, and then you just hinge it down there again, and then this section is all in place. So once it's in, everything kind of meets up in the middle, and it just holds itself together really well. But when you first put it on, it's kind of like, well, how does this go? And you have these little shield generator pieces down here that are hinged, and you just kind of set them to where they are laying flat on the deck, and it looks great. So we can go ahead and do the other side here. So same deal again. So we have our shield generator piece with the little notch underneath. It's cut out, and then it just goes right over here and meets up with that little pipe. And as long as it's held in place underneath this panel here, and it's all sitting nice and flat, you're good to go. And one thing I quickly just forgot to mention is once you get this panel in place right here, there's a little detail pipe section here that you can just kind of push down and sort of move into place, and that helps to keep this panel pinned. And we can place our cockpit tunnel piece here. So this has the little kind of sections underneath here that grip onto the corridor itself. So you just place that in there, and you're lining it up so that this clip here is a stopper that just gives you kind of the perfect alignment here down at the end of the corridor. So you just make sure that goes in under there. So that piece was just kind of has to be slightly underneath there. So that actually probably would be a good idea to put that in first. And then lastly, we have this panel here, which just fills in that gap. And it's the same exact technique as the others, except there's nothing studding it in at the bottom because we have this whole cockpit corridor here to do that. And then we place down our final lever piece, and it just holds onto that like so. And there we go. So all those pieces are now secure in there, and if you lift up the Falcon and you move it around and you give it a swoosh, nothing's going to fall off because it's all secured in, and it's laying where it should be, and then it's pinned on top. So yeah, I think this system, even though it's complicated in terms of like having a large amount of panels, I think the previous design where you had to take off the entire lid in one go, it was a nice feature because it's just one and done, but it made for a really, really tricky procedure, and it would stress the parts a little bit because you're lifting off so much and it's all just kind of drooping down and hanging off of those hinge sections in the middle. And it just was, I think, for the size of this model, I think this solution worked out much, much better. So there you go. There is your Falcon with all the panels now attached, and now you know how to do it. And I just wanted to show you guys the kind of handling and durability test. So as you can see, if you just grab the Falcon here by these two side compartments, you can totally swoosh it around, you can move it, you can pick it up, tilt it, absolutely no problems there. I mean, don't turn it upside down, obviously, because the panels and things are going to start to fall off on you. But you can go, I mean, I'm holding it basically fully horizontal, and I'm not getting any problems here at all. So, so yeah, that's really, yeah, really thrilled with all that, and it's absolutely no problems. I mean, you can just place it down on a surface. The landing gear are kind of fixed in place because I have those pieces underneath holding the landing gear in place. So there's really no problems. You can just pick it up and put it down. I mean, it weighs a ton, but I mean, not a ton, but it weighs a decent amount. So, your average, young child probably isn't going to be able to pick this up and swoosh around, but any teenager or adult is definitely going to be able to do that. So you can run around your house and, pretend that you're making a Kessel run in 12-ish parsecs, and no problem at all. So I just want to give you guys an overview of the details and everything here, kind of a slow look around. You can see I've tried to be really, really faithful in terms of like the mechanical details, the little kind of fins, the pipes, the tubes, the little whatever these little greeblies are, and the way that they're all arranged. I've tried to be ultra faithful to the studio model that I was looking at, which is the Empire Strikes Back version. You can see here I have the recessed maintenance bays, which is something I was not able to do with the previous version. It's kind of hard to see here, but there's actually a fair amount of depth under there, in between kind of where the panel breaks away, and you can see down in there's all kinds of tubes and pipes and things. And for whatever reason, this shape really stuck out to me, and I always remembered it from Falcon models and kits. And I was really excited to be able to kind of capture that shape just the way that I remembered it, using those lever pieces there and a combination of bars and things. And then, moving around, we have the ramp actuator. That's all still the same as it was before, but I have actually subtly changed up some of the detailing up here. I think since the last time that you saw it, but yeah, I'm really, really happy with all of this. again, really, really accurate to what you see on the shooting models, at least in terms of my interpretation of it. And I like how, you know, it kind of slopes up, and it doesn't slope up, but it kind of steps up to be taller at the back than it is here at the front, which is another thing that is accurate. It's a subtle thing, but it's accurate to the shooting models of the Falcon. So you can see here the cockpit corridor has all kinds of nice tubing and piping and details around it. And I actually ended up adding a little stopper under here so that when you're kind of hinging up, you know, these little panels here, they have something to rest against, and that's just that little piece down in there, and that works out really well. And I think just the tolerance of how all of this meets and comes together with very, very little gapping in there is really nice. So super happy with that. Got the little tiny bit of red in there that I was really happy with, and also the indications of the red coming down the main jaw here. This is the kind of large blaster dent damage that we see here on the front of the Falcon. And of course, this area, again, heavy with details, little pipes and other things sticking out of this. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a hole that was blown in the Falcon, you can see the interior, or if it's actually intentional. But yeah, I really, really like how that all came out, especially with all this intense piping detail and stuff through here. I think it works really well. And then of course, these are the same, the mandibles and everything are detailed pretty much the same as what they were when you saw them last time, except that they're, you know, finished on the underside now as well. And then, yeah, all the greebling down here, the way that it all just kind of melts into the rest of the ship, and the piping, how it kind of continues up into the Rectena tower here. Just really, really thrilled with all of that. And I tried to be really accurate with the color blocking in terms of like getting the panels to be exactly the right shape and size and color that they should be. Another bit of blaster kind of carbon scoring, I guess they call it, down here. And yeah, just adding areas of relief with tiles and ingots and things to break up the surface and give it that kind of paneled, beaten look that the Falcon has. It's got, you know, so many different facets and things. And then here you have the maintenance bay with the different detailing, obviously, to the other side, because nothing is really symmetrical on the Falcon. And yeah, just again, really trying to be hyper accurate to how all the pipes connect and things like that. And that kind of brings you back around. And I just absolutely love the way that this entire section turned out. And one of the main reasons that I decided to design the panels the way that I did is because I wanted to get quick access into this area to be able to turn on the lights without having to kind of dismantle the entire roof. So this is the switch that activates the lights back here. And then, you know, just placing this back on is relatively easy. And just make sure that you have the parts lined up, and then it just secures it in place. But yeah, just the piece usage here with, you know, in terms of like the little wheels and tires here to represent those vents, I think it's just absolutely couldn't be more perfect. And the way that I was able to bury down these tire pieces, or the wheel kind of pieces here, so that they sit really pretty far down inside of this part right here, and then that just kind of I don't know, it doesn't give it that awkward look where these vents stick up too far. I feel like a lot of models struggle with how to get these to sink down nicely against the surface here, and I just think it has just the right amount, and I'm just super happy with how all of that worked out. So yeah, couldn't be more thrilled with the detailing and all of that stuff, and I think this is just a really gorgeous looking Falcon model, and it's going to look great on anybody's shelf. So yeah, really, really pleased. Another aspect of the model that I'm really happy with that I wanted to kind of just point out to you guys is how minimal all of the gaps are in between the panels and the different sections of the pie slices. Like, I mean, obviously some gaps are unavoidable. Like when you come down here, you can see there is just a little teensy bit of exposed areas where you can maybe, if you look really carefully, you can see, you know, gaps in there that are poking through. But I think for the most part, it's so, like, I mean, the tolerance is really, really limited. So I think for the most part, you're getting nothing that's really going to catch the eye in terms of like the way that some of the official Lego sets had these very large, unsightly gaps in them that you could just kind of see right down into the structure. There's really none of that present here, and I'm just super thrilled with all that. Figuring out all the ways to get the different panels to sit together in the correct ways. Oh man, it was a real headache, but absolutely so worth it. And I think you know, hopefully you guys agree when you put it together and you see it for yourself. Yeah, it all just seems right. It seems Millennium Falcon-esque. All right, guys, and to close out the video, I'm just going to kind of go around and give you sort of a minifigs ground eye view of the Falcon. And just thank you guys for going on this journey with me and being patient and bugging me every week for new updates. I'm really happy that you guys are having such a good time watching this series, and that you're enjoying the Falcon and everything, because this has been a really rewarding and fun kind of, it's so funny to call it like a downtime project, because I haven't had any downtime, and also it's a massive undertaking. It was not a smooth, relaxing process at all. It was actually incredibly intense, figuring out all the different, areas and the engineering and everything. But ultimately so rewarding. I've had such a good time working on this model. So thank you guys for sticking with it. And I think what I'm going to be doing is a couple of additional videos where one will be when the instructions are done and I have a stand and everything, and I'll be kind of displaying all the beauty shots of all of that. So you guys will get to see how all that looks. And then another one will be how to light the Falcon using the custom lighting setup that I particularly use for this model, or that I personally used, because I feel like that's a really easy, really accessible lighting solution for anybody who's not familiar with wiring and LEDs and all of that stuff. It really makes it easy, and there's just like some specific ways in which to arrange the LEDs and stuff that I wanted to share with you guys. So that'll be its own video tutorial thing. And yeah, I think once it's all said and done, I'll be doing a nice kind of cinematic review of the entire thing. I'll get some nice shots of the interior, maybe throw some nice lighting on here, try to recreate some scenes from the movies. And then of course I have to get to work on the solo Kessel Run version of the Falcon, because naturally you guys are going to be asking for that at some point as well. So yeah, I'm going to have to start figuring out how that's all going to go. Obviously it'll be very similar in terms of the underlying structure, but all the specifics are going to be completely customized and detailed up to match the appearance in that movie. So that's going to be another crazy one. That's not going to be for a while though. I think I'm busy at work and there's a lot going on, and this was enough of a challenge. So give me some time to figure that stuff out. But yeah, so as you guys can tell, I have big plans, lots more things on the way in the future, and I just really thank you for supporting me up until this point, for liking and subscribing, for sharing it with your friends and all that good stuff. It's been really great. So here's to a great rest of 2022, and hopefully some more great mocks. And if you guys want to see those, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. So thanks again to everybody, and may the force be with you.